If you're looking for an all-in-one top that will offer you easy freedom and a configuration for whatever mood you're in, this Bestop Trek Top Ultra Slant Back Soft Top in black twill for 2018 and newer 4-door JL Wranglers will be one to look into. Now this is going to be great for the JL owner who's looking for a long-lasting and high-quality soft top to make the most of their adventures if they're constantly putting their top back, thanks to the 4 different ways to run the top and an easy-to-maneuver zipperless system. Now the feature list is very long here with Bestop's most versatile Trek Top update yet. Now when the top is completely closed, this will have a slant back look for a more aggressive and sporty appearance in addition to thick tinted windows to add to the appearance and help with insulation. Now when you're feeling like you want to open the top again, you will have many options here. Now one of those being a bikini top to simply remove the rear windows so you can have some more open air without being completely subjected to the sun if you don't want to at that time. Now if you and your passengers do want the sun, you can very easily flip open the top and fold it back onto the sports bar to expose the front and rear seats, and can do this with or without the rear windows installed. Now if the rear windows are off, you can very easily fold this back and sit this on the tailgate just like the factory setup, which is a step up from the previous Trek Top models that did not come with a fully convertible feature. This features Bestop's guide track system to make it effortless and much less clunky than the factory soft top, so you don't really have to question if you really want to put the soft top back because it's going to be very easy to do so, and it's going to stay neatly tucked on the back for a clean look. Now this is going to have a high quality construction and it is well thought out, and you'll see that in the detailed install in just a second, but going over this, it's going to be made of a number of different materials. Now the bow system and the frame system is going to be made of a steel construction with a black powder coat. That's going to hold up very well and provide really good support to this twill material here. Now you're also going to have a thick header on the front. The latches are going to be large and easy to use and is going to be spring assisted to make sure that you can very easily undo that and flip the soft top back whenever you need to. It is also going to come with door surrounds that are made of a heavy duty plastic material and knobs in order to install them, making them super easy to put on and take off if need be. Now the material of the top itself is going to be their signature twill material, which is very similar to convertible tops on luxury vehicles. So compared to the factory top, this is going to be much thicker and it's going to be more durable, in addition to resisting UV rays very well to keep this deep black appearance. Now the windows in the back will have a DOT approved tint to them, and they are all going to slide together with guided channels. It is going to have a reinforced structure to go around the roll bar on each corner for a taut fit, and this will tuck into the tub rails just like factory with that thick plastic on the end. This will come in at about $2,700 and it's going to be a premium choice compared to the rest in the category. Now one of the reasons being is that this top is much more versatile than other designs that may carry 1 or 2 of these features or have a factory style construction or one similar to it. Now this is way past that, and the twill material will make this top bulletproof, as some customers say in their reviews, so it will hold up to harsh conditions and keep the look, making it well worth the investment if that's what you're looking for out of a soft top. The install is a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and I would say it's going to take about 2 hours to get the job done. And I do recommend at least 70-degree weather in order to install this, just to allow proper movement and stretching of the fabric. When it's cold, it is going to constrict and not move and install as easily as warmer weather. So definitely recommend that before you jump into the install. However, at this point, we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how you can get this onto your JL at home. So that's going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, a flathead screwdriver, a T20 Torx driver, a Phillips head screwdriver, a 10mm wrench, a 4mm Allen wrench, a 10mm socket, 4mm Allen socket, T25, T30, T40, and T50 Torx sockets. What's up guys? Today we're installing a soft top on our Jeep, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is assemble our sidebars. We have a bottom and a top piece that's going to be held together by a couple of U-clips and a couple M6 by 20 bolts. So the first thing we're going to do is take our U-clip. We want the side with the threads facing up. So we'll slide that into place. Same thing for the other one. And then we can connect our two pieces. And then we'll get our bolt. I'm going to take a 4mm Allen socket to get these started. There's not a lot of room for your hands in there. And I'll throw that socket onto a ratchet to tighten them the rest of the way down. And then you can do the same thing for the other side. So now we can install our sidebar. This is going to go right over the rear door. So we'll get this all lined up into place. Now for the top two, we're going to be folding up this tab, and then we're going to be putting our long bolt through the top into the threads up here. Now once you have those two bolts threaded in, we can take our small M8 bolt with a flat washer, and that's going to be going right back here. And then we'll grab our T40 Torx socket and tighten all three of these down. And then you can do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can come to the very back of our roll bar here. We're going to take a plastic trim tool. We can pull back on this cover to be able to get that in. Pop the clip out at the top and the bottom. And then we're going to be installing our brackets. These are stamped with left hand and right hand for driver, right hand for passenger. And they also have an arrow showing you which way is up. So we'll just slide those two pins into the slots. And then we can take our M8 bolts and thread into the two threaded holes. Then we'll take our T40 Torx socket and tighten these down. Next, we can install our tailgate bar retainer. So slide that right on the end, and then we have an M8 bolt that we can thread into that threaded hole. And we'll take a T50 Torx socket to tighten it down. And then you can do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can install our lift assist assembly. We have this little pin here that's going to slide right into this little hook. So we'll get that in first. And then we can start threading in our bolts. We're going to go from the inside out. And then we're going to throw a nut on the back side of that. And same thing on the bottom here. And then we'll take a 10mm wrench and a T30 Torx socket to tighten both of those down. And then you can do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can install our side top bar over the front doors. So slide that into place. And then we can take our long bolts, we're threading them from the bottom up. And then we'll grab a T40 Torx socket and tighten these two down. And then you can do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can install our side bow assembly into our rail. Now, to get this out of the way, we can lift up on this yellow tab, and that'll make us able to push this back. And then we'll slide our roller into that channel and push it forward. And then you can do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can bolt our side bow assembly to our lift assist assembly. We have a shoulder bolt with a thick spacer that's going to be going on the outside. We'll put it through that hole, and then we'll get our thin spacer on the inside. And then we can lift this into place and thread our bolt in. Then we'll take a 10mm socket and tighten that down. And then we can grab our cover, pop that on, and then take our Allen head bolts and thread those in. And then we'll take a 4mm Allen wrench to tighten those down. Then you can repeat that same process on the other side. Next, we can install our number 4 and number 3 bows. The number 4 bow is the one that's a little bit longer than the number 3. Now, the number 4 is going to be on this first set of mounting tabs. We're going to be going from the rear of the Jeep towards the front with the bolts. And then for our number 3 bow, we're going to flip that and go from the front to the rear. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll take a T30 Torx socket to tighten down these bolts. Next, we can do that same thing for our number 2 bow. Our bolts are going to be going from the front of the Jeep towards the rear. Then once again, once you have them threaded in on both sides, you can take a T30 Torx socket and tighten these down. Next, we can attach our stiffener hook clips to the quarter window stiffener plates. So we're gonna get 3 bolts, drop them through the holes. And then we can put our stiffener plate on the back. And then we'll drop the flat washer and the lock nut onto each of these. And then we'll tighten all of these down using a T25 Torx socket and an 8mm wrench. And you can do that same exact thing for the other quarter window. So now I've lifted the soft top up onto the roof here. I've got it upside down with our latches up front. We have these 2 T20 Torx screws that we're gonna have to remove to pop this cover up. I'm using a T20 Torx driver for this. And now we can fold that flap out and flip the front over. That'll expose these 2 threads. So then we can bring down our frame. And we're just gonna line up those 2 holes with the 2 threaded holes. And then thread in our short Allen bolts. I'm gonna take a 4mm Allen socket to make this a little bit easier. And now once you have these 2 bolts threaded in on this side, you wanna get your other 2 bolts on the other side started, and then you can take that 4mm Allen socket to tighten these down. Now you can do that same thing on the other side. So now with those bolts tightened down on both sides, we can lift our soft top over the top of our frame. So now we can fold this tab back over into place and take our T20 Torx screws and thread those in. And then we can take our foam pad, we're gonna pull the backing off, and then we can stick this down over that little channel. And then you can repeat that same process on the other side, and then close up your top. Now next we're gonna be bolting down the rearmost bar on our top to our lift assist assembly. Slide our bolt in. Do that same thing for the other side. Then we'll take our T30 Torx socket and tighten those down. and then do that same thing on the other side. Next, we're gonna have to attach this fabric strap to this hole right here. We're gonna be using a tree clip to do that. So I'm gonna push it through the fabric and then line up that hole and push it into place. Now I opened up the top at the front to give us a little bit more slack to make this a little bit easier. So then do that on that side and repeat the same process on the other side. Next, we're gonna connect the second fabric tab to this hole here. So we're gonna be wrapping this under our bar and over. I'm gonna thread this screw through the fabric first. And then we can line up the hole. Use our Phillips head screwdriver to tighten down that screw. And then do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can mount our tension cable to our bracket here. We have this side that has the threads that's gonna go from the inside out. And then we'll slide our tension cable on. And then we can thread in our screw. And then we're just gonna hold the back and take a flathead screwdriver and tighten this down. And then you can do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can pull down on our soft top and close it. And then we're gonna latch it as well. Now we can attach the Velcro straps around our number 2, 3, and 4 bows. And I'll just do that same thing, working your way forward. So now we're ready to install our quarter windows. The first thing we're gonna do is hook this onto this bar here. There's this little spacer. You wanna stay to the outside of that. So hook that on, and then we'll align our back corner, clip our button in, and then we can work on tucking all of our flaps. So now we're gonna take all these little flaps and tuck them into the corresponding channels. We have one on this side, one underneath here, and then a couple on the corner. So I'm gonna start with this forward one. And then we can get the bottom in. And then finally, we can work on our corner. And then you'll do that same thing on the other side. And now up at the top of our quarter window frame, we have this little clip that we're just gonna pop over the edge here. And you'll do that same thing on the other side. Now we can install our rear window. We have this piece that's gonna be sliding into this channel. Slide that in, and then we can take this all the way across. Now this Velcro is going at the top and pointed out so that we can attach this top piece to it. Next, we can install our tailgate bar. This is going to be pretty much the same thing as the top of our rear window. We have this channel that we'll be sliding that piece into. You want to make sure you have this in the right orientation to clip into there. So once you have that right, you can slide that into the channel. Let's get this nice and centered up. And pop that into those brackets on the side. And now, just like the side windows, we're gonna get these little flaps into the channel. And then we also have one on the bottom here. And then we'll just attach our Velcro down here. And you can do that same thing on the other side. And now the last thing to do is just fold over the top and Velcro it down to all of our little strips. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Best Top Trek Top Ultra Slantback Soft Top in black twill for your 2018 and newer Jeep Wrangler JL 4-door. Thank you for watching, and for all things Wrangler, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.